What if taking care of yourself actually helped you show up better for everyone else? I'm Janet Jacks, Coach Janet J, and this is your next best step. This podcast is about real doable shifts that help you breathe easier and move forward one step at a time. If you've been carrying the weight of too much for too long and waiting for things to calm down before you start caring for yourself, this is your sign. The time is now. Let's begin where you are. You were made for more than just surviving. Let me ask you something. Is there a holiday tradition you're dreading this year? Maybe it's the annual cookie exchange that now feels more like a competition than a connection. Maybe it's hosting Christmas Eve dinner for 20 people when you're exhausted. Maybe it's the matching pajama photos when your teenagers are rolling their eyes. Maybe it's driving 6 hours to spend one awkward day with extended family. You keep doing it because it's tradition. But somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling meaningful and started feeling like an obligation. Here's what I hear from women all the time. I know this tradition isn't working anymore, but I feel so guilty changing it. Won't my family be devastated? Won't my kids remember this as the year I ruined Christmas? And here's what I want you to hear today. Traditions are meant to serve people, not the other way around. When a tradition becomes a burden, when the stress outweighs the joy, when you're doing it out of guilt rather than love, when it no longer fits your current season, it might be time to let it evolve. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." That includes traditions. Some are for a season. Some need to evolve. Some need to be released with gratitude for what they were. And Jesus himself talked about this in Mark 2, when he said, "No one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth onto an old garment, and no one pours new wine into old wineskins." In other words, new seasons require new containers. You can't force what worked in one season to fit another season without something breaking. Today, we're going to talk about how to tell the difference between traditions worth keeping and traditions ready to be released, and how to do it without guilt, without drama, and with grace for everyone involved. Here's what most people don't realize. Traditions have a life cycle. They're born out of a specific need or season. They serve a purpose, and sometimes their purpose ends. Let me walk you through the 4 stages of a tradition's life. Stage 1, the birth. This is special. A tradition begins because it creates connection, joy, or meaning. Maybe your grandmother started making her special cinnamon rolls for Christmas morning. Maybe you and your spouse started a tradition of opening one gift on Christmas Eve. Maybe your family started volunteering at the soup kitchen together. At this stage, the tradition feels organic, meaningful, and life-giving. Nobody has to force it. Everyone genuinely wants to participate. Stage 2, the prime. This is us. The tradition becomes part of your family identity. We're the family that does whatever your tradition is. It's woven into your stories, your memories, your sense of belonging. This is when traditions are at their best. They are meaningful and manageable. They create the connection they were designed for. Stage 3, the strain. This is hard. Something shifts. Kids grow up. Someone dies. Life circumstances change. Health declines, finances tighten, energy decreases. The tradition that once felt joyful now feels heavy. But you keep doing it because it's tradition, even though the cost now outweighs the benefit. This is the danger zone. This is where traditions become burdensome instead of bonding. Stage 4, the decision point. This needs to change. You finally realize something has to shift. The tradition either needs to evolve into something new or it needs to be released entirely. And here's where the guilt shows up, because releasing tradition can feel like betraying the past, disappointing people, or even failing at family. Here's what research tells us. Rigid adherence to traditions during major life transitions actually increases family stress rather than decreasing it. In other words, holding on to a tradition that no longer serves you doesn't preserve family connection. It damages it. The tradition becomes the thing that creates resentment, pressure, and disconnection. So how do you know when a tradition needs to evolve or be released? Here's a simple discernment framework. 5 questions to ask about any tradition you're questioning. Question 1. Does this tradition still create the connection or meaning it was designed for? Ask yourself, what was the original purpose of this tradition? If the purpose was connection, are people actually connecting? Or are they on their phones while you frantically cook? If the purpose was creating joy, is there actual joy? Or is everyone just going through the motions? If the tradition no longer serves its original purpose, it's become an empty ritual. Question 2. Is anyone doing this out of genuine desire, or is everyone doing it out of obligation? Here's a telling question to ask your family. If we don't do this tradition this year, would you be disappointed or relieved? If the answer is relieved or even hesitant silence, you have your answer. Sometimes traditions continue simply because everyone assumes everyone else wants them, but nobody actually wants them anymore. Question 3. Does this tradition fit our current season of life? The tradition that worked when your kids were 5 and 7 might not work now that they're 15 and 17. The tradition that worked when you had high energy and health might not work now that you're managing chronic pain. The tradition that worked when you had financial margin might not work now that you're on a tighter budget. There's no shame in admitting what worked in one season doesn't work in this one. Remember Jesus' words about the wineskins. New wine needs new wineskins. New seasons need new containers. Question 4. Is this tradition creating joy or creating stress? Research shows that traditions shift from beneficial to burdensome when they move from get to do this to we have to do this. Pay attention to your language. Pay attention to your body. Do you feel excited when you think about this tradition? Or do you feel dread? Does your stomach tighten? Does your jaw clench? Does your to-do list feel heavier? Your body often knows before your mind does. Question 5. Am I keeping this tradition for me or for someone else who isn't even asking for it? This is a big one. Sometimes we exhaust ourselves maintaining traditions for people who don't actually care about them. Or worse, for people who aren't even here anymore. Maybe you're making grandma's elaborate 7-layer salad because it's tradition. But grandma passed away 3 years ago. Nobody else really likes it. Maybe you're decorating the entire house because your kids used to love it. But they're grown now and barely notice. You can honor the memory of a tradition without continuing to do the tradition. So what do you do when you realize a tradition needs to change? Here's the process. Step 1. Name what you are releasing. Don't just stop doing something without acknowledging it. That creates confusion and hurt. Instead, have an actual conversation. I want to talk about our Christmas Eve tradition. I've loved this for so many years, but I'm realizing it doesn't fit our season anymore. Can we talk about what might work better? Naming it honors what it was while opening the door to what it could be. Step 2. Honor what it gave you. Before you release a tradition, take a moment to honor what it provided. This tradition gave so many beautiful memories. Remember when, and then share a specific memory. I'm grateful we had those years. This isn't just sentimental, it's actually important psychologically. Research shows that acknowledging the positive aspects of something you're releasing reduces guilt and increases peace with the decision. Gratitude makes room for grief without regret. Step 3. Get curious about what's emerging. Instead of just stopping something, ask what wants to emerge in this season. Maybe the tradition of hosting 20 people for dinner evolves in hosting 6 people for dessert. Maybe the tradition of elaborate homemade gifts evolves into a family service project together. Maybe the tradition of traveling to extended family every year evolves into alternating years or meeting somewhere in the middle. Lamentations 3:22-23 says, "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning." God's mercies are new every morning. Not recycled, not the same, new. What if God has something new for your family this season that's every bit as meaningful as what you had before, just different? Step 4. Give permission for grief. When you release a tradition, even one that was causing stress, there is often grief. That's normal. That's healthy. You can feel relief and sadness. You can know it's the right decision and miss what was. Don't rush past that. Let yourself feel it. Let your family feel it. I know this feels weird. I miss it too. And I also know this is the right choice for us right now. Both things can be true. Here's your challenge for this week. And I want you to actually do this, not just think about it. Pick one tradition you are questioning, just one. Then answer those 5 discernment questions. Does it still create its intended connection or meaning? Is there a genuine desire or an obligation around this? Does it fit this season of our lives? Does this create joy or stress? Who am I really doing this for? Write down your answers. Be honest. And then, this is the brave part, have a conversation about it. If it's a family tradition, talk to your family. I want to talk about blank tradition. What does it mean to you? Would you be open to changing it a little? You might be surprised. They might have been feeling the same way and waiting for someone else to bring it up. Or they might be attached to it, and that's okay too. Then you can talk about what a sustainable version might look like. The conversation itself is often more important than the decision. Here's what I want you to remember. Loving your family well sometimes means releasing traditions that no longer serve them. Your kids do not need the perfect Christmas you're killing yourself to create. They need you present, peaceful, and actually enjoying them. Your extended family doesn't need you to exhaust yourself maintaining something nobody really wants anymore. They need authentic connection, not performative tradition. And you don't need to carry traditions that have become burdens. You need space to breathe, to connect, to be present in this season. On Monday, we're doing a December energy audit. We'll identify exactly what's draining your energy this month so you can protect it. If you do today's tradition evaluation, you'll already have a head start on one major energy drain. Remember, traditions serve people. People don't serve traditions. Take your next best step. All right, you've got your next step. Small, doable, and real. If this inspired you, make sure to grab your free 5-minute daily reset at yournextbeststep.com. It's my gift to help you pause the chaos and reconnect with what matters most. Be sure to subscribe. And if someone came to mind while you listened, please share this with them. Remember, you are seen, you are known, and you matter. Be kind to yourself along the way. You are making real change, one step at a time.